The aroma of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon filled the small, cozy diner on the outskirts of Los Angeles. The place was buzzing with its usual morning crowd, a mix of regulars and travelers passing through. Among the clatter of plates and hum of conversations, Maya, a young black waitress in her late 20s, moved swiftly between tables. She wore a warm smile despite the long hours she'd been pulling to make ends meet. Maya had dreams, big ones. She wanted to open her own bakery someday, inspired by the recipes her grandmother had taught her as a child. But dreams felt distant when rent was overdue, and the bills kept piling up. Today, however, felt different. Maybe it was the crispness in the air, or the unexpected spark of hope she felt deep down. She couldn't quite place it, but there was a peculiar energy in the diner. "Maya, table 3. The gruff voice of her manager broke through her thoughts. "Got it, Mr. Turner," Maya replied, balancing 2 plates of pancakes as she gracefully made her way across the room. Table 3 was tucked into the corner, a favorite spot for regulars who sought a quiet breakfast. When she approached, she noticed an elderly man seated alone. He was dressed in a simple yet elegant button-up shirt and jeans. A baseball cap shaded much of his face, but his piercing eyes hinted at a story far greater than the modest attire suggested. "Good morning, sir," Maya greeted, setting down a steaming cup of coffee before him. "What can I get started for you today?" The man looked up, and for a brief moment, Maya froze. Those eyes seemed familiar, as though they carried the weight of countless tales and adventures. He offered a kind smile before speaking, his voice soft yet commanding. "Just a coffee for now, miss. And maybe some toast. Lightly buttered, if you don't mind." "Of course, sir," Maya replied, quickly jotting down the order and hurrying back to the kitchen. As she worked, she couldn't shake the feeling that she knew him from somewhere. "Who's the guy at 3? Her co-worker Lisa whispered, nudging Maya. "I don't know," Maya replied, glancing back at the corner table. "But there's something about him. He seems familiar." The mystery of the man at table 3 occupied her mind as she worked. When she returned with his toast, he thanked her warmly and struck up a conversation. "You've got a way about you," he said, breaking off a piece of toast. "A way?" Maya asked, puzzled. "Yeah, you make people feel seen, heard." "That's rare," the man explained, his words carrying a sincerity that made Maya's chest tighten. "Thank you," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. As the hours passed, the diner began to clear out. Maya noticed the man stayed longer than most, sipping his coffee and occasionally glancing out the window. When he finally rose to leave, he called her over to settle the bill. "How much do I owe you?" he asked, pulling a weathered wallet from his pocket. "Just $4.50, sir," Maya replied. The man handed her a $20 bill. "Keep the change," he said, standing to leave. "Thank you," Maya said, her smile genuine. Before walking away, the man paused, as if contemplating something. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small piece of paper. "This is for you," he said, placing it in her hand. Maya looked down at the folded note, her brow furrowing. When she glanced up again, the man was already out the door, his baseball cap pulled low. Curiosity gnawed at her as she unfolded the paper. Written in neat handwriting were words that made her heart race. "You remind me of someone I used to know. Your kindness and determination won't go unnoticed. Keep chasing your dreams. You never know who might be watching." Signed at the bottom was a name that made her gasp, Clint Eastwood. The room spun as Maya reread the note, tears welling up in her eyes. Clint Eastwood? The legendary actor and filmmaker? "Maya, are you okay?" Lisa asked, noticing her trembling hands. I think I just served Clint Eastwood," Maya stammered, holding up the note. Lisa's jaw dropped. "No way. Clint Eastwood? What did he say?" Maya read the note aloud, her voice cracking with emotion. The words felt surreal, almost too good to be true. "Wait," Lisa said, pointing to the $20 bill in Maya's hand. "Look at the back." Maya turned the bill over. and saw another message scrawled in the same handwriting. "Check under the table." Her heart pounded as she hurried back to table 3. She knelt down, and there, taped to the underside, was an envelope. She pulled it free and opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a check for $10,000 and another note. "For your bakery. Keep spreading kindness, Maya. The world needs it." Maya burst into tears, clutching the envelope to her chest. She looked out the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of him, but he was gone. As Jessica sat at home that evening, scrolling through the endless flood of comments and news articles, she couldn't shake the feeling that her life was unraveling. Every notification on her phone reminded her of the one ill-timed joke that had now become a global spectacle. The next day, as Jessica contemplated her next steps, a black car pulled up in front of her modest apartment. A sharply dressed man stepped out and knocked on her door. Surprised and apprehensive, she opened it cautiously. "Jessica Wright?" he asked politely. She nodded. "I'm here on behalf of Mrs. Melania Trump. She would like to meet with you." Jessica's heart raced. Was she about to be sued? Arrested? Her mind filled with worst-case scenarios as she was escorted to a luxury hotel in the city. When she arrived, she was led to a private suite where Melania Trump awaited, seated gracefully by the window. Jessica felt her legs wobble as she approached, her voice barely audible as she murmured a greeting. "Please, sit," Melania said, her tone calm but firm. Jessica obeyed, her hands trembling. "I heard about what happened to you," Melania began, her accent lending an air of formality to her words. "I wanted to speak to you personally, because I believe there is a lesson here for both of us." Jessica braced herself for a lecture, but what followed was entirely unexpected. Melania spoke about the importance of kindness and grace, even in the face of misunderstanding. She shared stories of her own experiences with public scrutiny and how she had learned to rise above negativity. "I did not come here to punish you, Jessica," Melania said, her gaze steady. "I came here to help you see that every action has consequences, not just for ourselves but for others as well. You have a gift with words. Use it to uplift, not to harm." Jessica, overwhelmed with guilt and gratitude, apologized profusely. "I never meant to offend you, Mrs. Trump," she said, tears streaming down her face. "It was just a bad joke. I didn't realize the impact it would have." Melania nodded, accepting the apology with quiet dignity. "I believe everyone deserves a second chance," she said. "That is why I have arranged something for you." To Jessica's astonishment, Melania handed her an envelope. Inside was a letter of recommendation addressed to the manager of a prestigious event planning company. "I think you have potential beyond waiting tables," Melania said. "Consider this a fresh start." Jessica was speechless. The woman she had mocked publicly was now offering her a lifeline. It was a moment that would forever change her perspective on humility, grace, and the power of second chances. As Jessica left the hotel, the weight of her past actions lifted slightly. She resolved to make the most of this opportunity, determined to honor the unexpected kindness she had received. Jessica's life began to change in ways she could have never imagined. With Melania Trump's letter of recommendation, she secured a position at a renowned event planning company. Though she started at an entry-level role, she embraced the opportunity with humility and determination, eager to prove herself worthy of the chance she'd been given. The first few weeks were challenging. Jessica often worked long hours, balancing new responsibilities and navigating unfamiliar territory. But each day, she drew strength from the lesson Melania had imparted: to use her abilities for good and to rise above her mistakes. Slowly but surely, her hard work and creativity caught the attention of her colleagues and supervisors. One day, as she was finalizing details for a high-profile charity gala, her manager called her into his office. "Jessica, we've noticed your talent and dedication," he said. "We'd like you to take the lead on this event. It's a big responsibility, but we believe you're ready." Jessica's heart swelled with pride and gratitude. She threw herself into the project, determined to make it a success. On the night of the gala, as the venue sparkled with elegance and guests mingled in admiration of the seamless event, Jessica stood in the background, quietly taking it all in. Among the attendees was Melania Trump, who had been invited as a guest of honor. When their eyes met across the room, Jessica approached her cautiously, her heart pounding with a mix of nerves and gratitude. "Mrs. Trump," Jessica began, her voice steady but emotional, "I just wanted to thank you again. None of this would have been possible without your kindness and belief in me." Melania smiled warmly. "You earned this, Jessica. I only opened the door. You walked through it." The two women shared a moment of understanding, a testament to the power of forgiveness and second chances. As the years went by, Jessica continued to thrive in her career, eventually becoming a sought-after event planner. She never forgot the pivotal moment when her life had changed, and she made it her mission to pay it forward. She often volunteered her time and resources to help others, particularly young women in need of guidance and support. The story of Jessica's redemption and Melania Trump's unexpected kindness became a symbol of the transformative power of grace. For Jessica, it was a constant reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness could have a ripple effect, changing lives in ways one might never anticipate. Through her journey, Jessica proved that mistakes do not have to define a person forever. With humility, hard work, and the generosity of a stranger, she turned a moment of public humiliation into a lifetime of purpose and fulfillment.